about daily school life, which is great and exciting. And because I'm sure you guys experience daily school life. So how many of you all go to school and then like do an activity after school, like sports or clubs or anything? Raise your hand if you do an activity after school. Okay, cool. Awesome. So it seems like a lot of you all are pretty busy. So you can put your hands down. Awesome. So when you go home, how many of you have to like find time to do chores after school or before school? Raise your hand if you have to do chores, like cleaning or things like that. Okay. Yeah. So some of you, yeah, that's cool. And then raise your hand if you also have to do homework once you get home from school. So raise your hand if you have to do homework. All right, everyone. Cool. So it seems like you're all pretty busy after school. And how many of you guys feel like you get time to like relax and just like have some time to hang out with your family after school? Do many of you all get to do that? Raise your hand if yes. Okay, so some. So then it seems like you all are pretty busy if you have chores, homework, after school activities. And I think that you'll find that that's pretty similar for a lot of children as well, in various countries. So like we said today, we're going to be talking, Sylvia is going to go first and is going to talk about Hungary. And then I'm going to talk about daily school life in Nicaragua. And then Annie is going to go and she's going to talk about school life in China. So Sylvia, if you want to start us off.
Sure. Hi, everyone, again. Okay, here we go. Let me remember how to do the share screen thing because that's, we haven't been on, like, to talk to you guys recently. It's been a little while, I think. Okay. I'm sorry. Again, the whole, like, final situation, like, just a lot going on. So we're all sort of, like, not our best state. It's maybe would be the best way to say that. Okay, so I am going to present, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Okay, so Hungary, yay! Has anybody raise your hand if you've ever heard of Hungary? Okay. Very nice. Yes. Yeah, you guys probably might remember some of my presentations beforehand. Okay, so Hungary is located in Central Eastern Europe. It's very close to, it's pretty close to Germany. It's next to Austria, Slovakia, these places kind of right in the heart of Europe, which is pretty cool. Fun fact about me, my family's from Sopron, but, Budapest is the capital, and there's a lot of fun things to do in this country. So yeah, that's a little background on Hungary, and about 10 million people live there. Okay, so here's some facts about education in Hungary. So everyone basically starts off going to the óvoda, which is like kindergarten. Raise your hand if you went to kindergarten. Yeah, so like a lot of people, right? Did you like it? Like kindergarten's a pretty fun time, right? You just kind of chill for the most part. You're learning, you're reading, learning how to read and write, etc. Elementary school is the next phase for children in Hungary. It's called általános iskola, and it goes from like 6 years old to 14 years old. So it's actually like they don't really have like a middle school. The grade that you guys would be in would be a part of like elementary school still, before high school. And high school is kind of like it's very different, I guess, than here, because high school like either is going to prepare you for college or it's going to prepare you for a career. So that's really different than here, where it seems like everyone goes to high school and you get like this education for, basically it's college prep education, but you can like, just get a high school degree or diploma and like go into the workforce. So it's like our high schools here are kind of like combined, like the Hungarian one. So there's two options. One is the gymnasium, which is like for people who want to go to college, who want to go further into their careers. And then the other one is the szakközépiskola, which is a vocational school, but the word for high school in Hungarian is just középiskola. which actually translates to like middle school, which is kind of ironic since that's like, you know, there's not really like a middle school, but the high school is középiskolai school. And so the decision of which high school to attend is important, and it's usually made after 8th grade. So after the általános iskola is done, the elementary school phase is done, then you decide basically like what you're going to do for high school. And as I said before, like when you go to high school, it basically determines like what your career path is going to be. So if you go to gymnasium, that means that you're going to basically go to college. And the szakközépiskola is a vocational school. You usually learn like a trade. So like you don't have to go to like you don't have to go straight into the workforce, but usually people do, and you don't really go to college. But that's decided like right after like you're 14 years old, basically, like after 8th grade level. So raise your hands, like if you guys would feel comfortable deciding like what you want to do basically for your entire life after 8th grade. No one? Anyone? Yeah, it's very different. So most people like by this time know kind of what they want to do. And again, if students want to continue their education, especially after gymnasium, they would attend the EGyetem, which is college or university. Okay, so here's some facts, a little more. So gymnasium is basically, again, people who want to go to college, who want to focus on academics. And the szakközépiskola is mainly for people who want to learn a trade or a vocation. So just kind of a fun fact about, just sort of a fun fact about my family. So my cousin in Hungary went to a szakközépiskola, and he learned a trade for forestry as his kind of like high school experience. So it's really different there. Not everyone is like pushed to go to college, because there's like a distinction between, you know, those who like want to go to college or maybe are able to go to college, and those who are more interested in learning a vocation. And the divide between like those who go to college and those who don't go to college isn't as severe, I think, because I think in the US, like you kind of can be looked down upon if you don't go to college, or it's like you don't have as many opportunities, whereas in Hungary, like it's a different system. So it's actually pretty okay if you don't go to college, because you can like make a living and do pretty well otherwise, because there's different, you know, roles that people play. Okay, so this is just like a little short activity to test your knowledge of what I've just told you. So if you think the student should go to gymnasium, keep your hand, or put your hand up, okay? And then if you think they should go to szakközépiskola, put your hand down. And remember, gymnasium is like the people who are going to go to college usually, and szakközépiskola is for those who want to learn a trade, okay? So for the first situation, the student wants to become an electrician. Should they go to gymnasium? Raise your hand if they should. Okay, got a couple people. I'll tell you the answers in a minute. Now, a student who wants to become a doctor, would they go to gymnasium? Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. Good. How about if they want to become a professor? Yeah, got it. Probably need to go to college for that, right? Fun fact, that's what I want to do. A student who wants to become a mechanic. Okay, yeah, you guys did a good job. Thanks for playing. So you're right. A student who wants to become an electrician and those who want to become a mechanic would be going to the szakközépiskola, and those who want to become a doctor or professor would be going to gymnasium. Okay, this is one more thing I'll add real quick. So languages, I'll just say that students in Hungary are generally taught in Hungarian. So just like you guys are taught most of your courses in English, they're taught it in Hungarian. However, because only about 15 million people in the world speak Hungarian, which is not a very big number, most students are encouraged to speak another language and learn another language, such as English or German, because, again, not many people outside of Hungary speak Hungarian, and most people want to, like, move abroad. Most of the young people do. And so there are also, like, bilingual education schools, so places in Hungary with, like, significant ethnic minorities, and during the Cold War, Russian was a mandatory language to learn because it was a satellite state of the Soviet Union. So, for instance, my mom had to learn Russian for like 8 years. But yeah, so most students today either learn English or German, but my cousin is learning French right now. You know, they have like a wide variety of options. So raise your hand if you guys are learning a language or speak a second language. Do you speak one, or are you learning one? Very nice. Is anyone, keep your hand up if you're learning Spanish? Okay, Very nice. Put your hand down, everyone. And then raise your hand if you're like learning a language other than Spanish or speak another language other than Spanish. Okay, very cool. Yeah, so like it's all about proximity, right? I mean, like here we're a lot closer to like Mexico and like Latin America, South America, whereas there, like German-speaking countries are more prominent, and obviously English is like the lingua franca for the world. So that has to do with it as well. Okay, let's see. Okay, basically that's what I just did, but one more thing. So most of the time students in Hungary begin to learn a language as early as age 10. But sometimes you can be 8 years old and starting it, and it usually continues throughout the entire time. So you're usually learning a signal language for a lot longer than maybe you would be here, whereas like most people start like in high school and just do it for 4 years, whereas there it's like, for almost 10 years so in some cases, because many universities in Hungary teach courses in a language other than Hungarian, usually English. So that's because they want to like attract students from abroad. Okay, and then this is the last thing. So the grading scale is different. It's not A to F. It's like 1 through 5, with 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. So it's a numeric scale. And yeah, I'll just kind of skip over this because I know I have it's kind of long. But for the most part, the academic year is from September to June, which is similar for our like time schedule, and it's about 5 hours long of a school day, starting earlier for the most part, I think, than most American schools do, and going until about 1:30. And usually like lunch is eaten outside of school. And sometimes school, like children can come back after school, or people can go back to school after lunch to do like separate activities. Most of the schools are public schools and they're free. And most of the time they're held in the morning, like classes. Also, college is very cheap, so tuition fees are lower than in the USA, but like colleges are very different. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're like bad or anything, it's just a different, so yeah. Okay, very cool. I will let Anna move on next because I know that I took a little bit of time. So take it away, Anna.